Hey everybody, this is Herschel Fromm from High School Top 200. This St. Kentigern's College 2016 review is brought to you by Fineline Barbers. In September next year, Vinnie and Fineline Barbers they've teamed up with a majoring barber supplier and a few other major supporting companies to create an Aotearoa barber competition. Now, the idea behind this competition is to help bring the industry recognition to our everyday barbers who are in the barbershops, transforming lives through their prospective works. They will conjugate for one day for the competition. Please keep an eye out for the Facebook page and also the Instagram page that they'll be posting up, and that will allow the barbers to put their profile on these pages, and so that they can showcase their work and showcase what they can do in terms of their talent and what they can bring to the competition. Also, it gives us a chance as the viewers to also check out people's work and also be able to book them on that day to get a haircut from that person, from that barber that you've been following, on these Facebook pages. So if you are a person from Auckland and you like the way that somebody from Wellington cuts hair and you've been following them throughout this process, on that day you can book him to come in and get a haircut by that barber that you like. Also, there'll be a lot of spot prizes and things like that, and also for barbers that are out there, they can come to the competition as well as be able to buy from different vendors and suppliers that will be there for their barbering needs. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and so keep an eye out for those things. And it will be in September 2017, so keep that date open. Now this review on this team review on St. Kentigern's, like I personally think that St. Kentigern's had a really widespread talented team in terms of position wise. I think that they took care of a lot of the positions that they needed to take care of. They were stacked, I think, in the right positions. Like for instance, they had their first five and halfback combination in Carlos and Rivas. So I thought those two together worked really well. I think Dakota, even though he had kind of a quiet season, in my opinion, from like last year, he was a beast, and this year it was kind of steady in the way that he played. But it was also him and Tanielu were there. Him and Nello in the him and Tanielu in the midfield, which gave them a lot of range and versatility in terms of the way that they kind of attacked every team that they came up with, so that they could match. They matched up really well, even just having those two. And then obviously you had Etienne at the back, who was Etienne. He just highlights all the time for some reason. He's just so good at what he does. But I just thought they were a well stacked team. I thought that they had a lot of really good games. The forward pack kind of were up and down. I mean, Far not being so wasn't healthy throughout the majority of the year, and even when he came back into the year, he still didn't play a lot of time. He still looked like heavily bandaged on his knees, and judging from last year, and this is why I thought that he was such a good prospect player coming into this year, because last year he had a really strong year, and this year he just didn't have that time after recovery to really prove himself to get back on the field. Sam was there at hooker, so it didn't really, it didn't drop, like the standard didn't drop. Sam always does a good job at hooker, but I just thought that it could have been better if Far was in the prop position as well, and they could have taken care of it that way. Caleb Milne had a good year this year. I really liked Silla was the other one. Silla was the other one that I really liked this year, and I think he played even at second five and then went to blindside, and I think he's a real big hitter too, solid as kid, and he's one of the guys that I'm going to be watching out for next year, because I think that it's going to be I think that he's gonna have somewhat of a breakout season. also, if you look at the roster that they have, I thought that they had a good structure in the way that they played their games. I mean, there were games that I think that they were unlucky. Like they were unlucky games, obviously, because I have listed down as their worst loss was that Sacred Heart loss, because losing right at the end sort of dropped their performance, and then a couple of weeks later they lost to St. Peter's, and then it kind of I think mentally it kind of separated them from the other teams, and then they ended up losing again to Sacred Heart, which was just a killer in the end. But I mean, they had their best game against Mags, and you know, roster change or not, like, that's not up to them. They still went out there and they won the game, so that was always a big positive for them. And I thought that a few more big games like that, they would have been you know, probably one of the best teams in the country, because it just took them a while to boost up. If you look at all the also, because if you look at their team, look at how many times, like, they had 3 guys in the Blues. Etienne had come here to Chiefs training. They had Carlos and Te Ahiru Wadu from the East Coast. They had those 2 go down to the Hurricanes, and Rupina went down to the Crusaders. So they had like a lot of talent on their team spread around the country come rep time. And so with all those representatives, they had a really good base of players, and they had a good foundation within their team. And so with a couple of them coming back next year, I think next year is going to be a pretty good group of players as well. They still have some good guys, and like I said, Sela was coming back. Alatini Tuangafasi is another one that I think everyone should watch out for. He's a good young player coming back. JP is coming back next year as well. And then you still have Rivas and those kind of guys, and Tamani and Dakota will still be back. Well, I think so. I think Dakota's coming back, unless he's got Warriors commitments, but him and Etienne should be back as well. So they're going to have a makeshift kind of team. And the other young guy, Amandine, is the one that everyone should watch out for. He's year 9, year 10, but he's about 6'5" already. And he plays second row for league. He plays second row prop. But he's already been signed to the Melbourne Storm, so he is a league player. But he's going to give us a lot of highlights when he gets his real chance at first 15. So have a look out for Amandine, even Sela and Rivas. Those are the ones that you should have a look out for. And Alatini Tuangafasi will be another one. So they have a good pack coming back. I still have them. Just off the top of my head, I still have them maybe a top 10 team next year. They're going to have some big gaps that they're going to have to kind of fill. But I know that with their strong under 15s that they have, and they got a few good recruits coming through, I think, as well, and some guys that are returning back. It's just going to fill in their gaps. The more important thing is how they're going to be put together, and so I trust what Tyler Veer does in his trainings and the way that he puts his teams together. So I no doubt they're going to be a top 10 team that will again probably compete for the top for the 1A champ, and also for the top 4. So have a look out for them. Have a look out for all these talented players that are coming through, and that's my review on St. Kentigern's. Peace.